Hey guys, wanted to come at you with a short and sweet video about something that might help you in the future and may help you do the things that you care about in life. From an early age, I began to go on mission trips, and obviously one of the hurdles with going on a trip is, how do I fund this mission trip? How do I make this happen? Now, I just want to right off the bat say that one thing that I've learned about God is that if someone wants to go on a mission trip, he always makes it happen. I've seen hundreds of mission trips over the years, and there hasn't been one time in all of my life that I've heard someone not be able to go on a mission trip because of money. It's literally a non-issue. And so one thing I've learned about the spirit of poverty is poverty always thinks in terms of lack rather than it can happen. So sometimes people want to go on a mission trip, and right off the bat, they're like, well, I can't do that because I can't pay for it. And I've learned that right off the bat, that's the wrong mindset to have. The right mindset to have is, I want to do this because this is in my heart. Now, here's a little secret. Here's a little tip. If it's in your heart to go on a mission trip, the devil didn't come up with that, and you didn't either, because people that don't care about God don't care about going on mission trips. So that was a desire that God put in your heart right off the bat. So if you just merely want to go on a mission trip, you're already engaging the will of God for your life. After that, it simply is a decision, knowing that God's going to provide the way. Okay, so that's the mindset first that we want to approach it is, if you want to go on the mission trip, if you decided you're going to go on the mission trip, then you let God work out the details. But you have to make up that decision from the get-go. You have to go, I'm going on this trip. I've decided it's going to happen. And from that point on, it's actually really simple. If you're able to make that decision and dictate your reality that way, even if you don't have any money right now. When I was a college student with no money, literally no money, I went on mission trips and lived overseas in the summer because I just believed in my heart that if there was a priority on earth that God had pertaining to where money goes, one of them has to be missions, right? Like, God cares dearly about his name being known in other nations. And so coming at it with that mindset right off the bat is so huge. It's so key. Now, secondly, aside from that, in the practical ways of fundraising, what I've learned is that if people just share their heart with people around them about the trip, let them know what they're doing, not like well, if I get the money, I'm going to go, because no one wants to give to that because you're not decided, right? But I'm going on this trip and I'm watching God provide. Man, I've seen people time and time again, straight up, not just people give money to people. I've seen people pay for whole trips for people. I've seen people, the church is incredibly generous when it comes to missions. And so things like talking to your pastor about what you want to do, letting people in your church know about what you want to do and what God is speaking to you about this trip and what's going to happen during this trip. Beginning to pray into the trip so you can have God's insight about the trip and then share that passion with other people. Talking to family, friends. If you have a Facebook page, who doesn't have a Facebook page? Posting about it, letting people know. Because here's the thing, like, if you care about it, people that love you should care about it too. And if they don't care about it, maybe they're not people that are should be that close in your sphere of influence, right? What I've learned is that people that love you for who you are, they care about the things that you care about. And so posting it on Facebook and letting people know what you're doing, thinking about practical aspects, like, do you have a PayPal account that someone, if they just want to shoot you some money, they don't want to take 20 minutes to do it, do you have a PayPal account ready for them? Do you have a Venmo? Do you have a Cash App? Do you have a way for people to actually get you the money, an address to send a check to, old school style, we used to write out support letters and mail them to people. And man, I remember one time I went to the Middle East and we were going to be there for months. We were going to plant a church with Muslims, and we didn't know what we were going to do to fundraise. And I think it was like $8,000 or something that the trip was going to cost. And that was because we were like literally renting an apartment. We had food costs, we have the rent, we had the flight costs over to the Middle East. And when we tallied it all up, it was at least $8,000. And I remember not knowing what to do. I had like 3 days left, right? And some family friends from the past, I remember they emailed me and they were like, how much is left for your trip? And I was ashamed of how much was left. You know, it was like $5,000 left. Like some people had given, but there was like $5,000 left. And I was stressed out. And I was like, oh, dude, it's like $5,000. And they just wrote back like done, you know, and they just paid for the entire trip. And as a result of that trip, we went and planted a church with Muslims in the Middle East. We ended up leaving that church with a local missionary, and he continued to teach them the Bible and worship Jesus with them. And it was incredible. And so when people give to missions, it's a huge deal. And the Lord rewards them for giving like that. You know, it's not like you're pocketing the money and spending it on some sports car. You're taking Jesus to the nations. And, you know, it's a huge thing. So I just want to encourage you guys to think in terms of God can do it regardless of my financial situation, regardless if I have debt, you know, regardless of what's going on in my life. God can do it. God will do it because he cares about it. And, you know, to be totally frank, in a lot of areas of our life, we have 5 kids. We, you know, I don't know if struggle is the right word, but we're figuring out how to partner with God in finances, right? And we're figuring out how he thinks about money. But man, when it comes to missions, Christine and I both just have like this wild faith about God providing. And we have just seen it time and time again. And so we just want to bless you today to believe for that, to not let money be a limitation on what you want to do in the kingdom of God. Like, just go for it. Don't worry about how it's going to work out. Just believe God for breakthrough. Believe God that he's going to come through with your finances, that he's going to make a way for you. And like I said, I've never heard a testimony of God not coming through when someone has that mindset. It's called faith. You know, faith believes something before it's happened. Doesn't wait for it to happen. It calls that reality into the present by believing in the goodness of God. So bless you today. Go to any nations you want. Be blessed. We love you guys.